Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we always love having our City Current partners come on the show. And that's why we're honored to have with us Will Brown, managing partner of the Benefits Group. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful. I need to take you everywhere with me. Like when I walk into the grocery store, I just have you go about 30 seconds ahead of me and do that.
Hey, I'll be your hype man. So let's go ahead and dive in. You're always a wealth of information. We love having you on the show. Let's go ahead and start with some context. Give us some background on the Benefits Group.
Yeah, we help small to mid-sized businesses offer Fortune 500 benefits. Boom, period. We're good at it. We want to make them look like $1 million. We give them the technology to do that. We know our lane. We know the whirlwind that smaller to mid-sized business owner operates in. So we control the process. We're efficient. We're hands-on, and we also understand their demographic, what their employees need. So we've got groups from 200 to 300 employees, but most of them are in the 10 to 80 range, typically. It doesn't mean that we can't build the larger groups, but that's not our lane, only because I like to be close to the fire. So I like, it's more about the tenor of management. If they care about their folks, they want to they want to effectuate some change. I don't want to be a commodity, let's put it that way. So yeah, we want to use benefits to show how much they care for their folks.
Talk about why benefits are so important for the small businesses. When you talk about offering it, the Fortune 500 caliber, and, when you talk about health insurance and all these things that employees really look for as a huge benefit and a plus, talk about why the benefits offering is so important.
Well, it tells a story, whether you like it or not. It's going to tell a story about your business. So if you think about this, it's the first or second thing that a new employee hears about. They're going to hear about what? Compensation, and then your benefit package, which includes your health, dental, everything else, your PTO. But that package, a large piece of that is what we do. So it's telling a story. It's communicating to them how much time, energy, and effort you have invested in them. And this new, you may have been able to slide in the past, but study after study has shown, I don't need to tell you, that millennials look at their work differently. It's about fulfillment and care. How do they feel enriched, and how does your company make them feel? So if you just check a box and give them no benefits or a very high deductible, something you didn't spend a lot of time in, that will speak volumes to them. Trust me.
Give us an idea of some of the main components, because health insurance is a piece of it, but it's bigger than that. Cost is a piece of that, but talk about some of the things that go into the factors for consideration and the elements of benefits.
You have customization. You have to customize it to your demographic, right? So your employee populace, you can't be all things to all people. However, you must consider the various elements of your populace. Younger, starting out, young family, about to land the plane, retirements, or are they looking at retirement benefits? You have creativity, like you mentioned, the core, dental, vision, medical, but there's things from not only telemedicine, fertility benefits, not even in the insurance space. Let's just I'm talking about things as easy as having a ice cream truck come once a quarter. I'm talking about things like maybe a car wash that shows up to your site and lets your employees get their car washed. There are creative ways, and I have a list of them that we've gathered over the years. So you have to be creative, right? So you have to customize, creative. Obviously, cost is a big part of it. There's a lot of time, energy, and effort there that we do. Communication, how you communicate those benefits to your population is important. You have to let them know the importance. So those are the main C's of that benefit package.
Talk about some of the innovations. I mean, some of the things that you've come on, many times in the past, talking about how the trends have shifted, what you're looking for, some of the innovations. Talk about some of the things that have your attention right now.
Okay, so let me just give you some context. What we do for that smaller to mid-size is we endeavor to bring those what's called cost containment That's just what it is. What it sounds like is what it is. How do we control premiums and costs? Cost containment that the big boys use downstream. Okay. So a lot of my day is spent interviewing vendors, carriers that have their own cost containment strategy, what's called a stack. When I say a stack, think about what are we going to plug into a group benefit that's going to help contain some of those costs. Some of those things are care navigation. Number one, before you can implement some creative strategies, you have to have a point person or a point solution, one point that employees can call to find out where to go to save money because they don't know. Then there's cost containment within RX, what's called PBM. Pharmacy benefit managers are a big piece of the puzzle, about 30% or more. They are independent TPAs or third-party administrators that find this commodity. They identify drugs that are going to be in your plan, and they find how they source them and how they provide them to you. Are they taking a markup? Are they keeping a kickback? Are they passing along rebates? So PBM is important. And they have what's called carve-outs. Carve-outs are where I would say to you, okay, Jeremy, I have these direct contracts with a local radiology and lab. So instead of paying the top dollar that's imputed in your plan, I have a direct contract that's less expensive. Now, I can't make you go there, but you can go to the network hospital or imaging center, and it might be $3,200 for that MRI. But if you go to the standalone imaging center where we have a direct contract for this company for a rate of remuneration or reimbursement, then you would only pay this amount. It may even be nothing. So I can incentivize you to go there. So we have those imaging carve-outs, care navigation, rebate pass-through on medicines, and also just sourcing prescription assistance. And then what else? There's several others. Networks. A lot of times direct primary care, similar to direct contracts with imaging. You can use regional networks, which are less expensive, and direct contracts with local providers. Having a big name as a backup or saving money for the 40% of the time that you can use those, or maybe more. So those are some of the things that we can use to save money.
You've been very good in the past at coming on, sharing tips for employees on, making the best decisions. Carry that for employers, for companies. Give us a couple of recommendations for them when it comes to being their best advocate, putting themselves in the best position. What are some things that they can do?
First, they got to start with caring, Jeremy. I'm sorry, but the onus is on the small business owner to plug in. They don't have to spend a lot of time. We come alongside them and take care of the yeoman's piece of it. I mean, we do all the heavy lifting, but they have to care enough to say, yes, I want to change the status quo. And what I mean by that is those were just a few of the things that I mentioned to you about saving costs. But there's another question. When we go to implement, we say, here's the cost containment measures, but what's your appetite for change and what's your employees' appetite for change? Because there may be a little bit extra work or an extra question involved. So when it comes to the small business owner, first determine your appetite for change and your employees. Secondly, make sure that you've got a broker that is a studier of their craft. Again, I'm sorry, this is a broad brush stroke, and I can say this because I'm not talking about a specific person, but my industry is broken. Most brokers are lazy. They're order takers, product peddlers. They're a product of the status quo system. And a lot of them honestly just came to this industry because they had nothing else to do. It wasn't a choice. I see it differently. I see this as one of the more important jobs in America because it affects so many people. It's such a large dollar amount, and it does take a lot of time to understand what's going on. So you need to make sure you've got a broker that's transparent, knows their craft, and spends a lot of time educating themselves. And then 3, you have to get behind it and help communicate why we're doing this to your folks. So caring on the front end, spending a lot of time just understanding that your broker is worth their salt and can get you to where you need to be. And then thirdly is just helping communicate that change to your people. They're going to look for that leading from the front. Why are we doing this? How is it going to help you? How are we going to come alongside you and make sure it's an easy transition?
You mentioned the system being broken, and you've in the past also shared very helpful tips around how you can be, kind of positive, a solution for this. And a big piece of this is education around what the actual costs are, making informed decisions. And that's on both sides, as the employee and as the employer. Carry that into some, ways that we can be a positive part of fixing the system.
Well, yes, healthcare consumerism. Let's just use that word. And what does that mean? That simply put, that there's while the industry is broken, there's a lot of fraud and waste and inefficiency of the system. I won't go into that. There are a lot of people in my industry, like I have already alluded to, that aren't educated. They don't have the care, the service, the card for it. But three, employee, subscriber, the person using the benefits, you have a big piece of this as well, to stay educated in the sense that you understand that you are buying something. If nothing else, I want the employee to understand that they are buying something when they walk into that provider. Before, we have been so ready to accept, like, oh, here's a provider, they've got my best interest. Yes, they have your best interest medically, but a lot of them don't even understand the insurance piece themselves, or they're unhappy with it. So I would not hand you my credit card, Jeremy, without knowing your charges. I wouldn't just say, here's a free bill. And first thing I want employees to do is think about that ID card. They're buying something, it's their credit card. Secondly, don't think that whenever you get that bottle of Motrin, or whenever they say, hey, we're going to order this lab panel and this ultrasound for you, or whatever, ask a question. Why? Just curious why. Because remember, that service that you think you're getting for free, you may say, I don't have to pay anything. I pay my copay. Let's be honest. Those services cost so much more. And believe it, Mr. Employee, Mrs. Employee, next year you will pay for it in the form of renewal. You are funding that system. Those costs come back to you. So nothing's free. Realize you're buying something. And then thirdly, just review your EOB, explanation of benefits. Sometimes you'll see things on there, maybe duplicated, no reason for it. A lot of times there's tests ordered that aren't even relevant to your condition. So just keep your head up and realize that you're buying something. Let's start there. That's what I would say.
As you have alluded to, this is a year-round proposition on your end. You're always working toward creating the best opportunities for companies and for their employees. Talk about timing on your end, though, in terms of, having the conversation, onboarding, leveraging technology. What does timing mean to you and the benefits group?
Should be at least 2 months out. I mean, we've done it shorter time period, but 2 months before. So whether you're in a new group or renewing. Now, I do want to point out, a lot of companies will reach out for 3, 4, 6 months before their renewal and say, hey, I'd like to get started on my renewal, which I love the energy. But just know that when the carriers are giving us a price premium, it's a 12-month locked in premium. So if they're giving us an extra 2 months ahead of time, that's 14 months of interest rate risk, economic risk that they have to put in that premium. So they're not going to go further. It's typically 2 months out that we'll get those renewal rates, because basically they're holding that rate steady for 14 months. So but 2 months is enough time to make sure that we can research, properly communicate, enroll, bring you up to speed, bring employees up to speed, get them cards. So just make sure it's well thought out. Now, having said that, I realize there are a lot of smaller groups that operate in a whirlwind, and we try to accommodate. Just to land the plane. And here, I would say, Jeremy, just to the business owner, take it seriously. Give it a little more credence than maybe if you haven't before. This medical piece is important. It's going to do you well, to your employees. There's a pre-tax favorability that, we could talk about offline, but just give it a little credence, give it a little time. I have a lot of business owners that dip in and dip out. They want to give it 5 minutes, and it doesn't ever work that way.
Well, and you've talked before too about the pre-tax benefits. So I think, going back and watching some of your other interviews, you're always a wealth of information diving in deep on this, which is why we love having you on the show. Wrap up with website. Where do we go to carry this conversation forward? So for employers that are saying, hey, I want to connect in with Will, learn more about the benefits group, where do we go?
So you can email me directly, will@benefits, benefits.place. That's .place. There is no .com. You can call our offices, 615-250-3334. But really, a lot of folks come in through our website, thebenefits.com. Group. That's thebenefits.group. And we have an intake form on there that says, let's talk benefits. It's streamlined, maybe takes you 5 to 6 minutes. You're doing it at 10 o'clock at night. You can answer some questions, upload a census, comes right into our team, goes right into our project management system. The system acknowledges that you got it, allows you to get the process started and still wake up the next day and know that we've started work on your behalf. So I think that's a good way too for a busy business owner, the website. We've tried to automate as best as possible, not to remove the human element. I've been spending a lot of money recently automating the repetitive so that the details don't get missed, but that frees us up to what? To talk to you, the business owner, to help in a sticky situation, or if there's some claims help needed. We don't want to send you to an 800 number.
Touch on, from a geographical standpoint, the fact that you can work nationwide. You kind of alluded to this in the beginning, but I definitely want to hammer this home, is you can work with any company nationwide.
Got clients all over the country. Most every one of them are referrals, but yeah, every state varies. So different solutions, different states. Some are more expensive than others, but with a lot of our solutions, then it doesn't matter what state because they're level funded solutions. So all that to say, yes, any state. Thanks for pointing that out. We're not limited by just Middle Tennessee. We love our Middle Tennessee folks, absolutely. But we also love our national folks too. We can help them too.
Absolutely. Well, Will Brown, managing partner of the Benefits Group, thank you for your City Current partnership. Thank you for always being a wealth of information. Thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely. I love it every time. Thanks, Jeremy.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.